எதிர்பாராத ஒரு விதத்தில் எம்மை ஏமாற்றி விட்டு சென்ற எங்கள் அருமை நண்பர்களுக்கு அஞ்சலி. நட்பென்னும் பயணத்தில் சிலர் நடுவில் பிரிந்து சென்றனர். நெஞ்சிருக்கும் வரை அவர்கள் நம் நினைவில் நிற்பார்கள், அழியாது. இதயம் துடிப்பதை நிறுத்தி நம் இதயத்தை துடிக்க வைத்தனர். அவர்கள் இதயம் துடிப்பதை நிறுத்தி நம் இதயத்தை துடிக்க வைத்தனர். இங்கு பொறுப்புகள் முடிந்ததென இன்னொரு இடம் சென்றனரா? தொலைதூரம் சென்ற பாதை தெரியவில்லை. தொடர்பு கொள்ள விலாசமும் இல்லை. தூக்கத்தை கெடுக்கும் துக்கத்துடன் கண்ணீரை காணிக்கையாக்குகிறோம்.
அனைவருக்கும் மீண்டும் வணக்கம். வைர விழா கொண்டாட அமெரிக்கா, இங்கிலாந்து, ஆஸ்திரேலியா ஆகிய நாடுகளிலிருந்து வந்திருக்கும் நண்பர்களை சிங்கப்பூர் ஞாபகப்படுத்திட்டீங்க, சந்தோஷம். சிங்கப்பூர் இந்தியாவா, உள்நாடா? நண்பர்களே, நடுத்தர தொழில் முனைவராக இருக்கும் திரு ராம் துக்காராம் அவர்களே, கரோனா காலத்தில் நண்பர்கள் குழு பிரிந்துவிடக்கூடாது என்று எண்ணி மாதந்தோறும் விர்ச்சுவல் மீட்டிங் அரேஞ்ச் பண்ணி கொண்டிருக்கும் திரு ரகுராஜ் அவர்களே, அவர்கள் இன்று சில காரணங்களால் வர முடியாமல் போய்விட்டது. அவர்கள் இல்லாது நமக்கு எல்லாருக்கும் சிலருக்கு வருத்தம். நண்பர்களுக்காக அயராது உழைக்கும் எலக்ட்ரிக்கல் ஸ்ரீதர் அவர்களே மற்றும் GEASON63 துவக்கிய சந்திரா, வேணு, பி நடராஜன் அவர்களே, அதை இன்றளவும் கட்டி காக்கும் சுரேஷ் ராமசேஷன் அவர்களே, நம்ம படிக்கும்போது கல்லூரிக்கு நிறையா பேர் போயிருக்க மாட்டோம். ஆனால் கல்லூரிக்கு 2003 இன்று வரை டெய்லி போகிறது ராமசேஷன் மட்டும்தான். டெய்லி போயிட்டு வர்றார். டெய்லி காலேஜ் பிளேஸ்மெண்ட் கமிட்டிக்காக அவர் செய்கிற உதவி என்றென்றும் மறக்க முடியாத உதவி. மட்டுமல்ல நண்பர்களே, உங்கள் யாரையும் வருக என்று வரவேற்று வரவேற்பை அளிக்க சாந்தாதுரை அவர்களை மீண்டும் அழைக்கிறேன்.
இனியதொரு நன்னாளில் நண்பர்களுக்காக இன்முகத்துடன் வந்த இனியவர்களே, இன்னும் இளைஞரைப் போல் இருக்க இசையும் நல்ல நண்பர்களே, வருக வருக வணக்கம். நேற்றைய நேரத்தை அசை போட்டு நாளைய நிமிடத்தை கணக்கிடும் நேர்மையான எண்ணம் கொண்டவர்களை நேசக்கரம் கூப்பி அழைக்கிறோம். வருக வருக வணக்கம். முதுமை காலத்திற்கும் கோலத்திற்குமானது. முதுமை காலத்திற்கும் கோலத்திற்குமானது. முதிர்ச்சியும் முதுமையும் வேறு வேறு. முயன்றால் முடியுமென நம்பும் முதுமையிலும் இளமையாக உள்ளவர்களே, வருக வருக வணக்கம். இன்று போல் என்றும் ஈடில்லா இனியதொரு நல்ல நட்புக்காக இன்னும் இன்னும் ஒன்று கூடி இருப்போம் என்று நம்பிக்கையுடன் வருக வருக என்று வரவேற்கின்றோம்.
Friends, you're able to hear me? Today, unusually we have a different type of a lecturer or chief person or whatever you want to call it, giving us a lecture on history. Don't blame me. History class namallam thoongirupom school days la illa na sollala. This will be different, I promise you. You will wake up if you are sleeping. Dr. Chitra Madhavan, historian, very popular in our lecture circuit here, talking on temple architecture, temple photography, and inscriptions and history. So I don't want to intrude into her lecture. She is going to give a presentation on her favorite subject, which will become our favorite subject after today. By the way, she is a prolific author with fantastic series of books, particularly a series of books on the temples in and around Tamil Nadu. How to go there, what to do, everything about them, small books which have been superbly popular in Chennai. They have sold very good in Chennai. I asked her to bring a few copies in case you are interested. It's available here with a discount.
Good evening to all of you. I'm delighted to be here this evening at your get-together, and I have to thank Mr. Suresh for all the arrangements he's made. He's been coordinating so well. Thank you very much for having me here. So the topic of today's lecture is temple architecture of South India, in the sense that I'm not going to be talking about the religious aspect of these temples. I'm going to be talking about how temples evolved into how we see them today. We've seen temples in South India, in Tamil Nadu, in Andhra, Telangana, Kerala, and in Karnataka, and we have an idea of how temples are. But we'll go back maybe 2000 years approximately and find out how temples were then and how they developed into what they are today. So this is a journey through time. So the earliest temples of South India, we know, belong to more than 2000 years ago. But we don't see those temples the way they were. In literature in South India, we understand that these temples were made of brick or they were made of wood. And how long can these temples stand? Were made of wood or made of brick? They would obviously, disintegrate after some time. So around the 5th century AD, they decided that they would make temples out of stone so that they would stand forever. Now this is one such temple. This is in a place called Badami, the ancient name of. So what you see is a sandstone hillock in a place called Badami, and this little cave temple, I dare not use my cursor because it goes out of sync then, that little room that you see there is a cave temple. Not the kind of a cave that you see in forests and all that. It's not a natural cave. This is an artificial cave which has been done with chisel and hammer. So these are the earliest temples that we see in South India, and they belong to the 6th century. Now if you look at this Nataraja, it is carved in this cave temple, right inside. And the way you see it is, if you, I'm at a disadvantage because I don't have a cursor. If you see the arms that are protruding out, you can see that it actually is 3D. It comes out of the wall. I'll just show you here. The arm actually comes out of the wall, and they have taken the trouble of chiseling directly on the stone of this wall, this rock. It's not as though these days they make an image and they put it on the wall of a temple. So suppose as you were chiseling a piece of stone, suppose you make a mistake. You can easily throw away that piece of rock, make another image and put it in the temple. Here, there was no margin for error because you were directly carving on the wall itself. Like this, you were carving on the wall, and if this sculptor had made a mistake, you would see that mistake today. But there was absolutely no mistake. It's perfect. And if there's anybody who knows dance, classical Indian dance in this audience, you would understand that this sculpture is straight from the Natya Shastra. That is the treatise on dance that was written or compiled around the 1st century BC. Now this is how some of the cave temples look. In the light, this is how one of the other cave temples in Badami looks. You can see the series of sculptures, pillars in the front. If you stand behind one pillar where those people are standing, you won't see the pillars in front of you. The alignment is perfect. And it goes very, very deep inside. There are 4 rows of pillars at the back. You can see 1 or 2 here perhaps, but you can't see more than that. But it's very deep inside. So these people would have known exactly how to chisel, how deep to go, when to stop, because you can't go on digging a tunnel inside, the whole thing would collapse. So you see, today you have a college for geology, another college for engineering, another college for sculpture, etc. These people were all rolled into one. They never went to any college. They learnt on site, the father teaching the son or the guru teaching the shishya. It was all hands-on experience. That's how they learnt. And this is how the inside of the cave temples look. We are going to countries in the west, we go to countries in the east, but I think in India, we don't look at our own front yards. So this is Badami. This is the kind of work that is there. This is how it keeps going inside. I want you to look at the ceiling. Even the ceiling is carved so beautifully. We'll come to that. This is how the pillars look. You know, today we say this is handmade, that is handmade paper, handmade this, because this is a time when we use machinery for everything. All this is handmade. They had the most basic of tools. They had a hammer and some sharp pointed tool perhaps. What they had, we don't know. How much time they took to make these lovely structures, we don't know. How many people worked, what they were paid, we don't know all these things. But we have all of this. It's extremely beautiful. Look at that row of flowers. It's blown out of proportion on the screen. It would be only about 2 inches in height. And they've done all this. And these are all parts of the pillar. It goes like this. And then on the ceiling you have this. Somebody, an anonymous sculptor, made a scaffolding, some kind of a bench. He was lying down on his back and carving like this on top. Oh, volume increase. Volume increase. So, you know, if you ask me to paint on this ceiling right now, I would make a big fuss. I'll say, you know, get me this, get me that. How can I lie on my back? How can I paint this? But this was done in hard stone. And somebody was there in the 6th century AD, lying down on his back and carving. And imagine the amount of dust, amount of stone, all that rubble that would have fallen on his face. No protective equipment whatsoever, and you have this. But you see, I've never hesitated to say this. In India, we are a country of Vandals. Somebody in the 6th century AD has taken the trouble to make this beautiful Nagaraja on the ceiling. Some other person has taken the trouble to climb up and break both his arms. Can you see? It's a damaged image. And this also is on the ceiling of Badami. All this is 6th century AD. You find a square and then a circle and then fish inside the circle, and right in the center you have a full-blown lotus. All this, it's a maze. Even drawing this on a piece of paper I would find difficulty in, and this person has carved it on the ceiling. Now, from all the way from Karnataka, we're going to go all over South India. From all the way from Karnataka, we've come to Tamil Nadu, and here also you have cave temples. The difference is in Karnataka, in the 6th century, when they carved these that I'm showing you, all this wasn't sandstone. That itself is a very difficult rock to carve into. Here in Tamil Nadu, you have granite. This is Karungal. As difficult. So the cave temples in Tamil Nadu are a whole lot smaller. I don't know how many of you recognize this place. Any of you here? This is Trichy. This is Malakote, a place called Rock Fort. Why do we climb Malakote, most of us? Any idea? There is a Pullayar on top. There is a Ganesha right on top. You can see that temple with the golden Vimanam right on top. But what most people miss while climbing up this Malakote to go and see Ganesha is you will have to pass by this structure. But we don't notice it because we are climbing up just to see Ganesha. If we stop for a moment, can you see there's a board with blue and white lettering? If you are interested in history, if you are interested in archaeology, Indian heritage culture, if you see a board which is half in blue and half in white, please stop. Because it means that that particular monument is a protected monument of national importance and under the care of what we call the Archaeological Survey of India, which means it's very important. So halfway or at least 3/4 of the way up to that Ganesha temple in Rockfort, on Rockfort, you come across this. And this is what you see inside. Now when you go to a Shiva temple, any Shiva temple in India, what you see in the main sanctum is a Shivalinga. But let's understand that that was not always the case. There were very different kinds of Shiva temples. This was one. And this belongs to the 7th century. to a dynasty called the Pallavas. Those in Tamil Nadu are very familiar with the name Pallava, and this belongs to the time of a famous king called Mahendravarman Pallava. So Mahendravarman got this cave temple done for Shiva, and this is Shiva over here. Now, how do we recognize this to be Shiva? How do you know it's Shiva? That's because he has his hair on top of his head. That's called the Jata Makuta. And what you must notice is from the top of his head, there's a line over there. There's something going horizontal on the right side. That is one strand of his hair. And okay, this figure here is goddess Ganga. Shiva has a name Gangadhara. It's a very common name. Men are named Gangadharan. So Gangadhara means he who has Ganga on his head. And this pertains to the story in our Puranas that Ganga was actually a river who flowed in the heavens. And a king called Bhagirath prayed to her to come down to earth. It's a huge story. And she landed on the matted locks of God Shiva. So just to tell you that there were temples like this where you don't see Shiva in a linga form but as God himself, like Vishnu. And next to this is an inscription over here. Now most of us can't read this. If I tell you that this is in Sanskrit language, you will ask me, no, this is not Sanskrit, definitely. I can read Hindi, I know the same script is in Sanskrit, this is not Sanskrit. Yes, because in Tamil Nadu, around that time, 6th, 7th, 8th centuries, and even later, a certain script called Grantha was used for writing Sanskrit. And this is Grantha. And incidentally, this is a poem. It goes on, it's from top to bottom. I photographed only a part. It's a poem composed by King Mahendravarman himself. And this man had a wonderful sense of humor. As most of you know, this Malakota is right on the banks of river Kaveri. It's very, very close to the river Kaveri. And God Shiva has another name. He is called Nadi Priya, which means he's fond of rivers because, he holds Ganga on his head. He's called Nadi Priya. So Mahendravarman writes this poem in the words of goddess Parvati, his wife, telling him, "Oh Nadi Priya, I know you are fond of rivers, but please don't go eyeing that river Kaveri that is flowing by because she already belongs to King Mahendravarman." Thereby meaning to say very clever this Mahendravarman was, plus he had a sense of humor. He wanted to tell us that his empire extended up to the river Kaveri. That was his way of telling us that. Anyway, so we come all the way to a place called Mahabalipuram, which is right here, stone's throw from where we are now. And I want you to notice the pillars here. Look at these pillars and these pillars. Within a matter of 25 years, the cave temples become so refined. This was in the time of Mahendravarman's son, Narasimhavarman. I also want you to notice, see, these pillars, I'm repeating, were not made elsewhere and then kept over here. These have all been chiseled out of this rock itself, which means to make this pillar, the sculptor would have had to remove all the rock around it, take out all the rock around it, and then create these two pillars. But look at that, it's completely perfect, it's perfectly symmetrical. It's very difficult to do something like this. And inside you have these very, very, very lovely sculptures. Remember again, I'm saying they were done directly on the wall. If there was a mistake, the sculptor couldn't have removed it and redone it. That wouldn't have been possible. All these. So this is another cave temple. And here you're looking at a lovely sculpture of goddess Durga killing Mahishasura. Now these days we use this word animation and animation, graphics and all that. If this is not an animated sculpture, I've not seen anything else in my life. This is that 1 nanosecond before she lets go of her arrow and Mahishasura is going to fall. See, he's already tottering, he's already leaning back, and she has her arrow full length pulled up to her ears. And actually, you see Durga holding the bow. you are imagining that she is holding the arrow. You don't actually see the arrow over there. And the reason is because if the sculptor had put the arrow there, it would have come on front of her face. So the arrow is not there, but you can well imagine it because she has pulled the string of the bow right back, as you can see in her arm. The next stage, okay, these people very soon got sick and tired of making cave temples. They said, how long can we dig into the rock? Let's stop. Let's go on to something else. Like we are going from now 4G into 5G. So they said, let us start cutting rock from top to bottom and let's make temples out of one piece of stone. So those of you who have gone to Mahabalipuram will understand that these are all temples each made from top to bottom out of one piece of stone. And this is how Mahabalipuram looked a long time back. Oh. Can you imagine? These are all actually unfinished. These are not completed for various reasons into which I will not go. But then each is from top to bottom one piece of stone. And each is of a different style of architecture. Look at this one. There were temples that looked like huts, made of wood, made of brick, with a thatched roof. And they decided to make it out of stone. And this was for goddess Durga, because you see Durga's vehicle, the lion in front. The next one is also incomplete, but you notice that the dimensions, proportions, the complete temple is different. Could any one of you tell me for which god this was meant? The clue is here in the picture. It was meant for a particular deity. Yeah, Shiva. It was meant for Shiva because you can see the bull over here. The next temple, it's all monolithic. It's all one piece of stone. Any idea which god this was for? There's nothing inside. It's incomplete. Any guesses? Wrong answers, welcome. Not space. It's meant for a particular deity. The temple is long, broad. That's the clue. Vishnu, which form of Vishnu? Ranganatha, Vishnu lying down. So you needed a horizontal long shrine for that. And to tell you also that these temples were all made from top to bottom. Here is a clue. Here. You can see the top part has been completed perfectly. But as you come to the bottom, you notice that work stopped. Can you see over here? Work completely stopped. We don't know why that happened, but we understand they started at the top and then they came to the bottom. Now this temple is something that I really need to explain. Again, all of this was made in the 7th century. I'm repeating that this is a monolith, meaning it's made of one piece of stone. So they started work from here and then they slowly came down, and by the time they came here, for some reason, they stopped working and they left this place. They left this project. So if you have a ladder and you're able to climb up like that, you will find that there is a room over here. There's a sanctum over here. And you can do a pradakshina there. You can go around there. There's a space. Then there are steps on the back side from this floor to this floor. You can clearly see a room over here. That is also for Shiva. And there is a space here. You can go around. They were planning to put another flight of stairs from the middle floor to the ground floor. They were planning to make a sanctum for God Shiva over here. They were planning to make a pradakshina pata, that is for do the pradakshina here. If they had done that, what you would have done is, you would have gone here, worshipped Shiva, done a pradakshina, taken a flight of stairs to the first floor, worshipped, done a pradakshina, taken a flight of stairs to the top floor, worshipped and done a pradakshina in one piece of stone in the 7th century. And just imagine, these people, these architects were sitting there and they were chiseling downwards. We here now put brick upon brick and build a building, and we think no end of ourselves. This is one piece of stone, no margin for error, and they were doing it from top to bottom, not the other way around. That much work. And here we have a lovely sculpture There are many gods and goddesses here, but this sculpture is of His Majesty King Narsimhavarman Pallava, who sponsored almost all the projects, all the monuments in Mamalapuram. Here is just one more before we go to the next temple. From here, it looks like nothing at all. We are still here in Mahabalipuram. The back side is like this. Usually temples are square or they are rectangular. Sometimes you may even find them round like the table you are sitting at, but this is none of those. This is oval in shape. At the back is oval. In technical terms, if you bring a traditional architect, a sthapati, he'll tell you that, oh, this is, you can call it oval, you can call it apsidal, but the term we use is Gaja Prishta. Gaja in Sanskrit means elephant, and Prishta means back. So this is supposed to look like the back of an elephant. And so they carved an elephant over here with the back in the same direction. Instead of writing it in words, telling you that this is a Gajaprishta temple, blah, blah, they selected two rocks next to each other. They turned the big rock into a Gajaprishta temple, and they turned the small rock into an elephant with its back in the same direction. But even if you didn't know all that, I don't want to get into technicalities, I don't care whether it's Gajaprishta or not, the elephant per se looks very beautiful. It's larger than life, it's a huge elephant, and if it had been completed, all this rock between the legs would have been removed and there would have been tusks, and at twilight you would have thought you were actually looking at an elephant. Okay? So now they are sick and tired of this also, making temples out of one piece of stone. So we are moving into the third stage. And they are saying, you know what, if we have to make these monolithic temples, we have to go to where the rock is and then cut. So let us do one thing. Let us cut the rock from somewhere, transport it elsewhere, and put stone upon stone, one upon the other, and let us build. So this is the famous Shore temple in Mahabalipuram, one of the first examples of how you put one piece of rock upon another piece of rock and you start building. But unfortunately, because they built it so close to the sea, the salt air has been hitting against the temple for now 1400 years plus, and all of this is not more than that, and all the rock has been eaten away. We now go to Kanchipuram. I'm going to show you slowly cave temple to a monolithic temple to how you put stone upon stone and build a temple. Now that tradition will stay, and how they are making temples bigger and bigger and grander. So from this temple, which is small, we go to a much bigger temple in Kanchipuram. This is 8th century Pallava dynasty. Look at how the campus becomes suddenly bigger. They are experimenting slowly, they are innovating. This becomes bigger, and you have more sculptures. You recognize this as Narsimha fighting with Hiranyakashipu. I don't know whether you see it from there, but Narsimha's face is fully red. There are traces of paint on his face. And he is red because he is Ugra. He is really angry. He is going to kill Hiranyakashipu the next moment. But it also tells us that all these sculptures were actually painted in all temples. This is a Ganesha, and this is a amazing multi-armed Nataraja. This again is a lovely Nataraja but damaged. One leg is on the ground and one leg goes right up over his head. This is called the Urdhva Tandava, and Nandi is dancing by his side. And what is called a Bhuta Gana or a Shiva Gana, a follower of Shiva, is also dancing. This temple has traces of painting from the 8th century. This is all 8th century paint that you see, and all this is that vegetable color. The kalamkari thing paint. So this is that kind of color, natural color that you get from minerals and from leaves, plants, etc. We go back to Karnataka. In the 8th century, they made temples of very different designs. This is again Gajaprishta. Can you see the back like that? Like the back of an elephant. Why this temple? It's called the Durga temple. It's in a place called Aihole in Karnataka. why this temple is very, very important is, look how they were experimenting now. This is a fusion of North Indian style and the South Indian style of architecture. Today you talk about fusion music. This is fusion architecture. And temples like this, very different kinds of temples. You find North Indian temples, North Indian style. This is a complete and total North Indian style temple in Karnataka, in South India, in the 8th century, in the dynasty of the Chalukyas. If you go to Orissa, if you go to Gujarat, if you go to Rajasthan, you can see temples like this. So they brought that style of architecture into the south also. Tanjavur, the famous Brihadishwara temple, which is built in the 11th century in the reign of Rajaraja Chola. This is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And today the symbol of the government of Tamil Nadu is a gopuram. It's a tall gopuram. And we are used to seeing very tall gopurams in Tamil Nadu. But most of us don't understand that the gopurams have had a huge evolution. So at one point of time, 1000 years ago, the gopuram was squat. This is a small gopuram. You go through 2 gopurams into the Tanjavur temple, and then you come to the actual main part of the temple, the main Vimanam. In most history textbooks in schools, in most of the websites, in most documentaries, you would have been told that that is one piece of stone on top. Am I right? Do most of you know of it as one piece of stone on top? That's totally wrong. It's not one piece of stone. It's many pieces of stone fitted into the top to make it look like one piece of stone. And this is something that archaeologists do know. People who have climbed right up to the top have realized that there are many dozens of small pieces of stone attached together at a height of more than 200 feet, more than 1000 years ago, to make it look like one piece of stone, which is actually far more difficult than rolling one piece of stone on top. And we have also heard that the shadow of this temple doesn't fall. But then the shadow has to fall, and the shadow does fall. And most times all of us are standing in that shadow, and somebody will be telling us the shadow doesn't fall, and we'll be saying, yes, it's true, the shadow doesn't fall. It does, it has to fall. So this temple is called, it's got a name, it's called Devalaya Chakravarti, meaning that this is an emperor of all temples, which in a way is true. See, if you go to a temple, if you look at eye level, we'll find that one stone has been placed on another stone. We can see that. But what we should realize is there is no binding material between the 2 stones. No cement, nothing at all. Stones were simply placed one on top of the other. They were just sitting one on top of the other. That is remarkable. You're all engineers. This is engineering. This is architecture. They just put one stone upon the other. The stones were allowed to move in case there was an earthquake. And because they were allowed to move, they didn't fall. That's why you hardly see any temples that have actually fallen. In times of invasion, they may have broken, but temples actually didn't fall. And suppose this podium where I'm standing is one piece of stone, and all of us have pushed it into place over here. We need to put another piece of stone on top. How are we going to lift it and put it? It's going to be very difficult, and the temple has to go up 200 feet. So we build a ramp like that, and then we push it slowly and on top. Then we raise the level of that ramp, and then it goes a longer distance. Then we bring 2 elephants and make them push it up, and then the 3rd stone sits in place. That's how this entire thing was built. Can you imagine the effort? And where most of these temples are, there is absolutely no stone. For example, in Tanjavur, it's absolutely flat land. There are no rocks, there are no hills, there are no mountains. Each piece of stone was brought from more than 40-45 kilometers away. And this temple was built using thousands of tons of stone. So that's the kind of engineering. This one?
What is this temple?
The Tanjavur Brihadishwara temple. Same temple. We are at the same temple. This one. So literally they moved stone, they quarried stone. Can you imagine how many thousands of people were involved in this? Which means that you were giving employment to that many people. And here is a Nandi. This Nandi was made of one piece of stone, one huge colossal piece of stone. This is how it is. And these are the inscriptions which are there in the Tanjavur temple, which are there everywhere in every temple. And they give us so much of information about, it's not just about religion, it's about history. If you know there's a king called Raja, if you know there was a Krishna Devaraya, all of it comes from inscriptions. These are paintings, can you believe, from 1000 years ago? I don't know how many countries can boast of paintings intact from 1000 years ago. India does. These are all in the Tanjavur temple. And they were done using a method called fresco. And these are all natural paint. We go to a place called Gangai Konda Cholapuram. This is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And it's a little bit of a different design from the previous one. This temple was very badly damaged. And this also, I have to tell you what happened. So when the Chola emperors took the trouble of commissioning their architects and sculptors to go like dozens of kilometers away and bring rock and build temples like this, when the British came, they wanted to build a dam across a river that is close to this temple. The river is called the Kollidam. It's a branch of the river Kaveri. They wanted to build a dam across the river. They couldn't be bothered to go 45 kilometers and bring stone. So they just blew up this temple and they took all the rocks from here and they built this dam across the river Kollidam. I'm not making up the story. They have recorded it in their gazette. And when the locals said, why are you blowing up our temple? They said that it's not yours. Don't question. So this is what happened to this temple over here. But then the Archaeological Survey of India, under whose care it is today, have managed to put it back in place. And high up over here, somewhere over here is where I've taken this photograph. This is the kind of carving that you have. Before they knew that some person with zoom lens and all is going to come, this is the kind of carving. This is a Nandi over there. And some of the best of stone sculptures of the Chola dynasty are there in this temple. Now they are looking at different designs, different, more innovations, more experiments. We are going to a place called Dharasuram, which is near Kumbakonam. This is also a Shiva temple of the 12th century. This is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And they decided to design a temple like a chariot. They decided that horses would be pulling this temple. I want you to look at the detailing. Look at the hub, look at the spokes, look at the rim. Everything is simply perfect. But when you think of a temple which is like a chariot, the first temple you'll think of is the Sun Temple in Konark. That's a beautiful temple. But I want you to understand that this temple in Dharasuram that looks like a chariot was built 100 years before the Konark temple. And it was from Tamil Nadu that the idea of making a temple like a ratha or a chariot went to Orissa. And the reason for that is because a Chola princess from this area got married to a king from Orissa, and with her went the idea of making a temple like a chariot, and the fantastic Konark temple was made. So this is the Dharasuram temple, where each and every part is carved. The pillars are carved, the ceiling is carved, all this is granite. Taking you very quickly to Konark, and you know that this is how the wheel. This is far more famous than the ones in Tamil Nadu, but the tradition went from Tamil Nadu to Konark. I am not being regionalistic or parochial, I speak history. So now we are going to Karnataka. We are going to the Mysore area, where there was a dynasty called the Hoysalas. And only day before yesterday, this temple, this is in a place called Halebid. This is called the Hoysaleshwara temple. It belongs to the 11th century. This temple, along with two other temples, have been selected by the UNESCO as World Heritage Sites. Okay? So now you will think that these temples look very flat, First of all, yes, because the top part of the temple has been very badly damaged. Secondly, yes, these are all flattish temples, and the reason is because the stone out of which they are made is called soapstone or soft stone. And because that stone is so soft, you couldn't have made huge structures like what the Cholas did in Tamil Nadu, because they had granite here. Now the Hoysalas knew that their stone was not good enough for making gigantic monuments, and they decided that they would make up for it by making the most minute sculptures like this, because the stone was soft stone. And this is what you have in the Hoysala dynasty. So there are regional variations. They knew whatever material they had to make the best of it. There are, on the base of this Hoysaleshwara temple in Halibet near Mysore, you have 1,200 elephants, and each elephant is different from the other. Could anybody tell me what war this is? Anybody from the audience? This is a war. The Mahabharata, this is the Kurukshetra war. That was a guess, and that's a correct guess. So could you tell me who this warrior is? Arjuna. Then who would the charioteer be? Krishna. But is that a guess? Could you? It is correct, absolutely correct. This warrior is Arjuna. All arrows are flying thick and fast. This is Krishna. But there is a clue in this sculpture to tell you are right. Flag lenna. If you look very carefully, so this is the war scene. And there this is Arjuna's flag. And on the flag is a monkey. And that monkey is Hanuman. So you see in the Mahabharata, if you read the text of the Mahabharata, you will find that each warrior had a flag, and the emblem on each flag was different. So when the warrior was coming from far, with a Bhishma or a Drona or Karna, whoever it was, or Bhima, whoever, from a distance you will know, oh, it is that warrior who is coming. And each had a different emblem, as I said. And the flag of Arjuna had Hanuman. It is said that Arjuna, according to our tradition, Arjuna asked Hanuman to be on his flag. And Hanuman said, okay Arjuna, I will be on your flag, but make sure that I face away from the war. I don't want to face the war, okay? The reason was because he had seen the best war, said Hanuman. I have seen Rama and Ravana fight, and I am not going to see other wars. But this sculptor has made him actually face the war. But anyway, this is the clue. There is Hanuman on the flag, and this is the war. But here in this one, in a small, slightly next to sculpture, he is shown facing away. Anyway, can you look at, this is not more than a foot and a half at most, the size. Look at the detailing over here, okay? And this is how it is. We go to a temple in a place called Belur, same dynasty, Hoysala dynasty. I want you to see the sculptures over here. There are more than 600 elephants. Each elephant is different. If you think this is made of wood, no, this is stone. And that's the kind of intricate carving. Look at these pillars. Can you see the polish? That is the polish that the Hoysala sculptors were able. You can actually see your reflection there. The ceiling is like this, like this. This is not one piece of stone, but many pieces of stone interlocked in such a way that it looks like one piece of stone. It goes in to a depth of about 8 feet. One more Hoysala temple, very close to Mysore, in a place called Somanathapura, looks like this. If you take a drone shot, if you take a picture from above, it will be exactly in a star shape. I want you to see this, in and out and in and out, it looks like a star. And where the protrusion is, the protrusion will go right up to the top. And where there's a depth, it goes right up to the bottom. Such precision in architecture, such precision with the most basic of tools, and the intricate carving, because it is soft stone. All this is there. And the ceiling in Somanathapura is like this, inside. Can you see the paint, original paint from the 12th century, still there. we cross the river Tungabhadra and we go to a place called Hampi. You've all heard of it. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And this place was the capital of a dynasty called Vijayanagar. And here it's a very, very rocky place. They have many, many temples. This is the Virupaksha temple, one of the oldest. And this is a Hazara Rama temple. The name tells you Hazara, 1000 Ramas, but it was originally called the Ramachandra temple. It's called Hazara Rama because of the number of sculptures of Rama. Can anyone recognize this sculpture? Rama. Yes, Rama trying to string the Shiva Dhanush, the bow of Shiva, with Lakshmana watching. This is his father-in-law to be, Janaka over there. Almost each and every scene from the Ramayana is there, from the birth of Rama to his Pattabhisheka. And this is the compound wall of the Hazara Rama temple. You would never have seen a compound wall like this of any temple. You have a procession of elephants, you have horses, you have musicians, all of that. If you look very carefully, each horse, though damaged in sculpture, is being led by a man. And I didn't bring a close-up of that sculpture, but if you go close up and see, that man won't be an Indian. And if you read up on the texts of the Vijayanagara period, you will find that it was the Portuguese who brought horses from Arabia to India. And these are all Portuguese bringing the horses from the seashore into this place. Okay, so dancers, Kolatam, this is what we do even today. Kolatam dancers are seen on the walls. A very broken temple in Hampi. It is called the Vitala temple. In 1565, there was a huge war between the sultans of the Deccan and the Vijayanagara rulers, and many temples got ruined. But if you go into the Vitala temple, you will find this chariot. It's a stone chariot. It's not made of one piece of stone, made of many pieces of stone. But if you look carefully, there is a small gap between the hub and the rim over here. And these wheels could actually rotate once upon a time. Not that you were dragging the chariot around the temple, but in its stationary place itself, the wheels could be rotated. This is actually a sanctum for Garuda. Vitala is a form of Krishna, Vishnu, and the Garuda inside was looking straight at Krishna once upon a time. And in this temple you have pillars like this. They're beautiful to see. Look at how they have carved it. One piece of stone, there is one pillar on the inside and many small pillars on the outside. Very difficult to make. You have to put your finger inside and carve. Lovely piece of work. But it sounds as beautiful as it looks. Meaning, if you tap these pillars with a small stone or with a stick, you will get the Saptaswara. You will get the Sarigama Padani. You will get that. Now, how did they manage this? Because I told you these people were geologists. And they knew how to find out a particular stone which was resonant, which could make noise. So they chiseled that stone from somewhere, carried it all the way to this place, put it up, they carved it so beautifully, and then if you know that it's a musical pillar, if you tap on it, you get these beautiful sounds also. I also want to add one thing. There are different pillars like this in Hampi, each having a different pitch. You know, this is one pitch, the next pillar is a different pitch, etc. And in Hampi, you have these beautiful monolithic sculptures. This is 4.5 meters high. It's just one piece of stone. They saw a rock and they said, let us carve. And this is another Ganesha. This is 2.5 meters, not feet. And look at this. This Narsimha, very badly damaged, unfortunately, is 6.7 meters in height. One piece of stone. Starting from the top to the bottom is one piece of stone. Unfortunately, the two hands are broken. The Lakshmi who was seated on his lap is also broken. And then this. One of the most beautiful tanks in India is in Hampi. You would have seen umpteen movies where the actor and actress go around and around this tank. This is in Hampi, made with great care. It's called the step tank. I want to take you to North India just for a moment, to a place called Abaneri near Rajasthan. It's near Jaipur actually. and this is goes in more than 70 feet deep. These are called step wells or step tanks. I'll come to that a little later. Now, we are going into fusion architecture once again. In the Vijayanagara times, in Hampi, they built this structure which is called the elephant stables. This is where the elephants of the Vijayanagara times were kept. And this clearly is a combination of Islamic and Hindu architecture. Very clearly, you see the domes, you see the arches, all this is Islamic. And this is a small palace, it's called the Chitrangini Mahal in Hampi, and also a fusion of Hindu and Islamic architecture. We go to Andhra Pradesh, where there is a lovely Vijayanagara 16th century temple for Shiva in a place called Lepakshi. And here you find the world's biggest Nandi. This is how big he is. This is made of one piece of stone, and they have carved this Nandi from that stone that was there itself. They didn't move the stone. Where they saw the stone, they carved it into a Nandi. Colossal, it's really huge. I want you to see the ropes and the jewels that the Nandi wears. Look at that. It's clearly like a jute rope that we tie our bulls and our cows with. Look at that. Look at that workmanship over here. And huge bells he wears. And that jute rope. Appriye kaira mari. Perfectly so. And on the walls of ceiling also of the Lepakshi temple, they have work like this. This is painting from the 16th century. This is clearly kalamkari work. You all know of your kalamkari saris, your kalamkari blouses. This is kalamkari work. So textile designers run to Lepakshi just to look at the kalamkari. Look at this. Lovely designs. And this. Now, till now, I have told you about temples. I have dated them. This is Pallava, this is Chalukya, this is Chola, this is Vijayanagar. Now, very quickly in the next few minutes, I am going to tell you about temples that have grown over the last 2000 years. Look at this ground plan. The whole of this is more than 156 acres. This is the world's largest living temple. It is on an island called Srirangam in Tamil Nadu. So this is the world's largest temple is not in India. That is in Angkor Wat in Cambodia. But the world's largest living temple, living as in active worship, over the last 2000 years, maybe much more than that, but as historians we can date it to the last 2000 years, is in Srirangam. There is a work called the Ahana Nuru, a Tamil work, which is dated to about the 2nd century AD, 2000 years old. And it clearly mentions a festival called the Panguni Uttaram that was celebrated in this temple. So we know that this temple was there 2000 years ago. But at that point of time, it must have been a small temple right at the center where you see that round, it must have been a little temple. And over the last 2000 years, it has grown into the 156 plus acres that we see today. Walking from one end of the temple to the other is your evening walk only. And it has 21 gopurams, 21 entrances. The number of mandapams you can't count at all. And all the black concentric rectangles are the prakarams. And the last three here, and here are actually the township, the ancient township of Srirangam. People actually live here. Even today they live over here. So this is one massive temple. It didn't happen in a day or a week or a month or a year or in 100 years or 200 years, not in 1,000 years, but over 2,000 years this temple has grown into what you and I are walking into today. So this Gopuram of the Srirangam temple, an iconic Gopuram, the tallest Gopuram in South India. The bottom was built in the 17th century. It was left unfinished. And the top portion was completed only in 1987. And look at this. Each pillar is one piece of stone over here. Okay? And that is a hall of 100 pillars in Srirangam. This is a hall of 1,000 pillars. And each pillar is one piece of stone. You may wonder, why should you have a 1,000 pillared hall and why have a 100 pillared hall? Because the population was growing, more festivals, more rituals, more people wanted to come there, that's why. And here is a temple in Kanchipuram It's a Vishnu temple called the Varadaraja Perumal temple, where this whole thing is made of one piece of stone. Okay, and we go now. So I'm been talking to you about temples that have grown over time. The Meenakshi temple in Madurai again has a history. It has about 14 gopurams. Beautiful temple covering many acres, and again an evolution of at least 2000 years of architectural growth. Can you believe that this is a pillar? The whole thing is a pillar made of one piece of stone. This is also a pillar. You see Ganesha dancing, but at the back is a pillar. It's all one piece of stone. Go to Tiruvannamalai, the Arunachaleshwara temple. Again, it didn't evolve in a day or a night or in a month or in 1,000 years. At least 2,000 years. Chidambaram temple, same story. It's grown and grown and grown. This is Chidambaram over time. I'm taking you through the Gopuram of the Chidambaram temple. As you go in, you see all these sculptures. Each sculpture is a lady dancing. And right on top, you can see an inscription. So, the text called the Natya Shastra of Bharata Muni, sage Bharata. There's a book called the Natya Shastra, which is a science of dance. It gives you 108 dance movements, not a pose, movements. This each is a dance movement. And these sculptors have studied the Natya Shastra of Bharata, and they have made these sculptures out of stone. This is 12th century, Chola period. What they have also done is, they have taken the corresponding verse from the Natya Shastra and they have written it here. That much work. They have read this Natya Shastra. Amazing work. Can anybody recognize this Gopuram? This is somewhere in Tamil Nadu, South Tamil Nadu. Srivilliputturu. Can anybody tell me anything about the Srivilliputturu? Tamil Nadu emblem, right. So if any one of you want to write the Tamil Nadu Public Service Commission exam, if any one of you want to attempt that, and they ask you which is the emblem of the state government of Tamil Nadu, please write Srivilliputturu, you will pass. But please know that it is the wrong answer. It is the wrong answer. The emblem of the state government of Tamil Nadu is the West Gopuram of the Meenakshi Sundareshwara temple in Madurai. See, I'll tell you how I know this. In one lecture to a group of young students, I said that this is the Srivilliputturu temple, which is the emblem of Tamil Nadu government. And then one young boy, in his late teens or 20s, after the lecture came to me and said, "Ma'am, I really liked your lecture very much, but you made a huge mistake." So I said, "Tell me what that mistake is." And he said, "You see, this temple you pointed out, and you said it's Tamil Nadu government's emblem. It's not." So I said, "Then which is Tamil Nadu government's emblem?" He said, "Madurai Meenakshi Temple's West Gopuram." So I said, "How do you know this?" He said, "Because my grandfather drew it." So who was your grandfather? So the grandfather was a very great artist called D. Krishna Rao. And he was the principal of the government arts and crafts college in Egmore. And the government of Tamil Nadu had called that great artist and commissioned him to draw the emblem of the Tamil Nadu government. Krishna Rao was from Madurai, and his house was very close to the West Gopuram. So he drew the West Gopuram. And you see that Meenakshi temple being a Shiva temple, all the sculptures there were of Shiva, Parvati, Ganesha, Kartikeya, etc. He had drawn all of that meticulously. But when that drawing became a stamp, all those little details were left out. All you had was the outline of the temple. And that outline of that West Gopuram in Meenakshi temple looked just like the outline of this Srivilliputturu temple. Now this has gotten stuck again. Please come. So since Srivilliputturu temple is much better known than the Meenakshi temple's West Gopuram, people took it for granted that it was the Srivilliputturu temple, and everybody now thinks it's a Srivilliputturu temple, and when you repeat a lie many times, it becomes the truth. So the government of Tamil Nadu thinks it's the Srivilliputturu temple, that's the emblem, and it's there in all the textbooks, but it's a wrong thing. Alright? So very quickly, just for a few more minutes, I'm taking you to a lovely old temple. This is in a place called Mannargudi. The temple is called the Rajagopala Swami temple. I'm taking you to the temple tank over there. It's a huge temple tank. It's about 35 acres. The temple tank alone is 35 acres. Now, why would they make a temple tank so big? I am not for a moment taking away from the religious aspect of our temple kulams. That is there. It is for the god, and it is a very religious water body, sacred water body, agreed. But it was also what is called a water harvesting unit. You know, India is very dependent on the monsoons, even now. And when you want to save water, monsoon water, you are talking about water harvesting today as though it's a new concept. No, our ancients knew about it very well. So they made all these very large temple tanks, and they had channels above the ground and below the ground, where from collection centers the water would flow into the temple tanks, which were very big and very deep, and they would store all the monsoon water without letting it go waste. They also had another system in ancient India, all over ancient India, that is when a temple tank got full, you know, if it the excess water would flood the village or the town. Instead of allowing that to happen, they had outlet cut-off points where they had outlets. The excess water would go out of the outlet and fall into another tank which was at a lower level. When that tank got full, outlet would lead it to yet another tank. And this was the system where they kept all the rainwater without letting it go waste. We got rid of that system, and we are into deep trouble as far as water is concerned. So they used to dump coins and all. I'm just going to another very, very big lake in Tamil Nadu. I don't know whether you've all heard of the Veeranam area. The Veeranam area is near Chidambaram. It's a huge thing. It was actually made by a Chola prince called Rajaditya in the 10th century. This whole thing was dug by the army of Rajaditya. When they were waiting for enemies from Karnataka and the enemy didn't seem to turn up, the soldiers were getting very restless. So he said, dig a tank, dig a lake. And this huge lake was dug, and that was named Veera Narayana Eri. Veera Narayana was one of the titles of Rajaditya's father, Parantaka Chola. Veera Narayana became Veeranam, and that big tank done by a Chola prince supplies water to the city of Chennai today. So something very useful. And these are lovely water harvesting units in North India, all of them very beautiful, and like this, all meant for storing water, all of this. Okay, that's in North India. And last 3-4 slides, this is the Kapalishwara temple in Mylapore. Most of you are familiar with it. Other than the main sanctum of God Kapalishwara and goddess Parvati there, Karpagambal, you have a sanctum called Punnai Vananathar. I want you to notice that name. Vanam means forest. Nathar is Shiva, God. Punnai Vanam means a forest of Punnai trees. Today, when you go into the temple, the authorities will point out one particular tree. There is only one tree inside the temple, and that is the Punnai Maram. Punnai is a particular species of tree. Once upon a time, this entire area was a Punnai Vanam. It was a forest of Punnai trees, in the middle of which was the Kapalishwara temple. Now, why, in Tamil Nadu, all over India, you have sacred groves, sacred forests, in the middle of which there will be a temple. Nobody should touch those sacred forests. But why? All these are medicinal trees. If you look at this Punnai Maram, I'll just show you. It's a Sthala Vriksham, the sacred tree of this temple. These are all the things the leaves do. The leaf extract is used to soothe and sore eyes, relieves giddiness, relieves headache, stops internal bleeding, treats nervous disorders, body temperature comes down, this, that. So many things this Punnai Maram can do. Each of the trees that we see in India as a sacred tree inside the premises of a temple is used in one or the other of the Ayurvedic medicines, the Siddha medicines that we have, which is why they wanted to keep these sacred groves intact, these sacred trees intact. put the tag sacred on them. They were sacred, all right, but also because these were medicinal trees and they wanted to protect them. But I think we've forgotten all of this completely. Why temple tags were made, why sacred trees, why sacred groves, our traditional architecture, engineering, sculpture. We've completely forgotten all of that. We are looking outward, but at some point of time, if we look inward into India, we'll find philosophy and architecture, sculpture, geology, engineering, architecture, everything rolled into one. And we'll remember that we come from a great culture, we come from a great civilization, much of which we've forgotten, and we need to revive and pass on to the next generation. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, friends, a different type of lecture today. How do you like it? Thank you. Now, our program will be slightly different from now onwards. Please, Chitra. We are going, I will explain how. Recently, I found while talking to a lot of people, our friends, that they've never seen a book launch. What is a book launch? I was just mentioning there was a book launch I attended yesterday. I said, what is it? Then I found a lot of people have never seen a book launch. Book launch is a very common feature, but most of them haven't. So I said, why not we have a one-act play to explain what a book launch is. I suggested the idea, a few of them liked it. Some of them asked me what is a book. Adu vera vishayam vana. So today we will have a small one-act play explaining how a book is launched. Some engineer wanted me, how will you launch a book in water? Won't it sink? Adu vera vishayam. Let us not go into that. I will show you how a book launch is done. Okay? So we selected an author among ourselves. J. Ramanujam. Where is he? Come on. Give him a hand. So, okay. So, J. Ramanujam has come out with a book, and the book is going to be launched now today. Okay? Now, how a book launch is done. We have some chief guests coming and launching the book. I'll show you how it is done. So, now I invite K.R. Ramanujam to come to the stage. We have one Ramanujam Telecom department introducing the book by another Ramanujam of Telecom department. Both of them are not telecom engineers. That's a different story. So now, three people are on stage, and then there is the interviewer. Then what the interviewer does is start asking a few questions. Sometimes relevant, sometimes irrelevant. You sometimes find three people, the author will be sitting, fidgeting, worried, mela papa, kila papa, enga iruppan. Chief guest ukand apdi he'll be totally bored, nariya patrikar and mari. Interview will be jumping up and down asking questions. Yeah. So then there are books like this, sealed. Then the chief guest will just a few words about how he knows the Ramanujam, the author, and anything, whatever it is, few words, and then open the wrapper, and that is the book. This is how it is done. Now, first I should introduce the author. Author is J. Ramanujam. Most of you know him so well, there is no meaning in my introducing him. In fact, it's better if I ask him to introduce me. He is known better. So, Andavana, we'll skip that step. Okay? He is an author who has done a book. Now, our J. Ramanujam chief guest, will talk about J. Ramanujam, the author. Confession, something about releasing the book.
We belong to the same batch, but J. Ramanujam was 1 year senior to me. in telecom ITS. He has done very well. He rose to the level of secretary to the government and very popular. When he joined, there are a lot of people in our service from IISc Bangalore. But when compared with them, the research center chose J. Ramanujam, a mechanical engineer, to do research in telecommunication. He became a member of the Telecom Research Center, Delhi. It was a prestigious post at that time. There, you know, Seshadri is there, you know, all the North Indians fight for a posting in Delhi. There is a big craze. But when there is so much, when people are after Delhi so much, a man from Chennai who had done mechanical engineering was preferred to do research in Delhi. That's a big thing. And he did justice to the job, and the rest of the story. And his, I remember his stay in Andhra Pradesh. He was earlier in, he was very close to Chandrababu Naidu. He had done lot of work in extending optical fiber network to the village. Now they are talking, we are taking optical fiber to the village, etc. Ramanujam was started at that time, and he has taken optical fiber to each village with the help of Chief Minister. He was in close contact with them, and that's a very popular. The Ramanujam has been very popular throughout his service. I wish him all the best.
So now our chief guest will launch the book. Open பண்ண சும்மா இப்படி எடுத்தா வரும். இப்படி 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 இப்படி. Now, often what happens is a book is presented to somebody as the first person to receive a book. நான் கிட்ட இருக்கேன், நான் வாங்கிக்கிறேன். That's it. So this is how a book is launched. Now that since we have launched it, the book is available for sale also. Anybody is interested, by the way. Okay. He will talk about it. I am going to call him to talk about it. Baba. And also ask a few questions in the middle. Wow. One question, you say, what made you write a book like this?
I never thought that I will write a book.
We also never thought you will write a book.
In fact, I was writing small anecdotes and publishing to it, mainly for the purpose of knowledge of my own family members and people in other groups, my classmates and the people who work with me. Mainly because none of them know me exactly what I had been doing. After just passing my engineering, I went out of Tamil Nadu, never worked in Tamil Nadu, even though I had been to many parts of the country and many parts of the world also. And it was easy, quite easy for me, even though I was a student of mechanical engineering, to bifurcate into telecom, because telecom at those days was at a very primitive stage. Even after about 100 years, after invention of telephone, it was still at a very nascent stage. But the work was very, very difficult, because those days it was all landlines. And the telecom was developing. It was developing from electromechanical to electronic, analog systems to digital. So it was quite interesting field also, because every year it was changing. The technology was changing. And there was a great need for telephones. You all know that how difficult it was to get to a telephone in those days. each maybe there was a telephone only in one house in a street, and everybody used to use that telephone. So my mission was mainly to increase the number of telephones, and at one stage I had the privilege of giving the maximum number of telephones in the country. So what made me write the book was, when I was writing all this in a few anecdotes, one day I thought, why not compile it so that others also can read it as a whole? Because there is nothing like reading it as a whole thing than in bits and pieces. So that is how it was not, and I am not really an author. It is all just a compilation of all these anecdotes. And what it contains is, mostly it starts with my earlier life where I struggled to become an engineer. And then it was all about the work. Mostly it was the concentrated, honest application to the work, your own work. And I had very, very rich experience in many areas where, like earthquake in Bhuj and Morbi Dam burst, things like that. And there was even a flood in Hyderabad. In all such occasions, I was never afraid of taking up the challenge. Even though it was not, in some of the cases, it was not my direct duty. But I volunteered, you can say, to take it up and do some work about it. So these are all the things. So the book is mainly about my work, what I had done from the start to the finish, and the telecom. I have grown up along with the telecom, and how I enjoyed the work. Thank you all very much.
1 minute. Normally, a normal interviewer should ask normal questions about the book. He is not a normal author. This is not a normal book, and I am definitely not a normal interviewer. I have only one question, single question, which all of them want to ask but are not asking. Why don't I find any reference to a red saree girl here? He has to answer it. What happened to the red saree? அதுக்கும் ஃபோன் வருது. ரெட் சாரி சொன்ன உடனே ஃபோன் வருது. எனக்கு தெரியாது.
See, it is not, it is all to entertain people like you only. So, and another thing, recently, if you have read one of my anecdotes after the book, you will find it is about my experience in France, and something akin to this red saree one. And I explained it, but at the end I said, this I didn't include in my official report to the government. So it is all for you only, not for the general.
Okay. Good folks, and thanks for the book.
One more thing I want to mention here, K.R. Ramanujam. He has done some wonderful things which nobody in the government department did. That is, improving the telephone system in Calcutta. In Calcutta, it is very, very difficult. One of my very senior officers, he said, Ramanujam, in Calcutta you have Banerjee, Chatterjee, Mukherjee, but none of them have any energy. So, only during K.R. Ramanujam period, he was there hardly for 2 years or so, maybe more. And he has done some wonderful things. He improved the telecom system of Calcutta beyond any expectations, and mostly he was not in the forefront in the department for most of the time, but during his tenure in Calcutta, he was praised by everybody in the department. Thank you.
Back to the history, thousands and thousands years back. We traveled for about an hour. Hats off to her. Thank you very much, Madam Chitra. In honor of that, we would like to give a compliment to her. B. Natarajan, our fame, please come.
Natarajan will be giving her a small memento. This is for your puja room. சொல்லி கொடுக்குறேன். This is a Bhagavad Gita book created in a very, very special way. The only type which has ever been created in India. The paper is special, the printing is special, totally eco-friendly. It is created by one of the biggest presses in. So, I would like to present her a Bhagavad Gita for her puja room.
It's a book, Vedic cosmos.
Not the book. The Bhagavad Gita will be delivered to your house. It's too big for me to bring. During our Golden Jubilee, we gave a gold coin to all the ladies who attended, correct? You know what happened after that? During the dinner time, not one, many of them said, Diamond Jubilee ki diamond tharriya. நல்ல ஐடியா தான், கரெக்டு தான், கேட்டது கரெக்டு தான். ரொம்ப ட்ரை பண்ணோம், முடியாதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டோம். It was in my mind all the time. Though I am not able to give one diamond to every lady here, I want to just have a mini quiz or something, some method of selecting one lady, because I found a sponsor for one diamond. Diamond Jubilee ki diamond and the lady ki kudukanum. Okay va? All of you okay? Okay. How to select? Totally biased view of the quiz master, okay? Unbiased illa, biased view of the quiz master. நம்மெல்லாம் சினிமா ஜாஸ்தி பார்க்குறது உண்டு, இப்போ இருக்கோ இல்லையோ அப்போ இருந்தது காலேஜ் டேஸில். ஸோ திஸ் எ ஃபில்ம் பேஸ்ட் குவிஸ் பேஸ்ட் ஆன் அ ஃபில்ம் ஃப்ரம் அவர் காலேஜ் டேஸ் which was released in that period. I am going to explain certain properties of a film song of that period. Once you put all the properties together, there is only one song in India which can meet those requirements. One by one, you will find 100 answers. I want you to find one by one questions. It's a multiple questions, multiple choices, multiple questions. End of it, ultimately, this for the ladies first. If they don't get it, then I'll throw it open to the rest of you. Okay. This was a super hit song in Tamil, Telugu, and Hindi. From a film shot, not dubbed, in 3 languages, made in Chennai. அது நிறைய வரும், இது மட்டும் விட்டுட்டேன்னா. All the 3 languages of the movie also became super hits, not just the song. Trim down the number of movies which come into the list. All 3 films had the same music director. All 3 films had the same heroine. Anybody can start guessing, they can start guessing. Ladies first. You can guess, anybody can guess? The hero was common for Telugu and Hindi versions, but different for the Tamil version. In the stage, one lady I know gave an answer in some other form. Any answers? Okay. Sorry. First of 3 languages la vandada. No. Now, can you, first part of the question, I may not stop here, I may go one step further later, even if I get the answers. I want the name of the film in each language. Not just one. 3 பேர் சொல்றோம். 3 languages. It was not called Valkai in 3 languages. It's called Valkai in Tamil. சரி விடுங்க, அது வேணாம். We'll go to the first line of the song at least. I told you the song was a super hit and in 3 languages. Can you think of any song which was a super hit in 3 languages, same song, first line of each? 3 லாங்குவேஜ்லேயும் பாடியிருக்காங்க, 3 லாங்குவேஜில் ஹிட் ஆகிருக்கு. ஃபஸ்ட் லைன் வேணும். No, same movie taken in 3 languages. The same song. I want the first line in each language. Mardeep is name of a movie. இந்த மூவி பேர் சொல்கிற, பாட்டு பேர் வேணும். அதுதான் சரி. இன்னும் ஈஸியாக பண்ணுறேன். மேக் த கொஸ்டின் ஈஸியாக. I have given you so much about the background of that movie. Can you name the music director who directed this song in 3 languages, made it a super hit and made the movie also super hit? அதாவது பண்ண முடியுமா பார்ப்போம். டைமண்ட்பா ஜுவல்லரி பாக்ஸில் வச்சு கொண்டு வந்திருக்கேன். ஜுவல்லரி பாக்ஸ் டைமண்ட் அவ்வளோ பெருசு எங்கே போகிறது? ஜுவல்லரி பாக்ஸ் வித் டைமண்ட் இன் இட். கம் ஆன். ஒன்லி ஒரு நேம் மியூசிக் டைரக்டர் இல்லை. ஐ வாண்டட் டு கிவ் திஸ் சம் மோர் ஆப்ஷன்ஸ் கொடுத்து ஒரு லாங்குவேஜில் என்ன சிங்கர், ஒரு லாங்குவேஜில் என்ன ஹீரோ, இதெல்லாம் கூட கேட்கலான்னு நினச்சேன். இதுக்கே ஆன்சர் கிடைக்கல. இதெல்லாம் கேட்டால் மீனிங் இல்லை. ஸோ வி லீவ் இட் நவ். இவ்வளோ பெரிய டைமண்ட் கொடுக்குறேன், அதுக்கு மேலேயா? ஓகே, நவ் ஐ வில் கிவ் சம் க்ளூஸ் அண்ட் தென் யூ வில் ஸ்டார்ட் ப்ராப்ளி கெட்டிங் த நேம் ரைட். One by one I will start telling, then you get the song, you answer the song answer. Okay. The music director's name Adnarayan Rao. இப்போ மூவி கிடைக்குதா? சேம் ஹீரோயின் in all 3 சொன்னல, அஞ்சலி தேவி. இப்போ வரும். The name, first line on each language song, அது மட்டும் சொல்லுங்க. 3 லாங்குவேஜில் வரலையே. 3 லாங்குவேஜில் பாடலையே சேம் சாங். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆஃப் ஆல் இட்ஸ் நாட் தேசுலாவுதே தேன்மலையாலே மணாளனே மங்கையின் பாக்கியம். இட் வாஸ் சுவர்ண சுந்தரி இன் தெலுங்கு, ஹாயி ஹாயிகா ஆமனி சாகே. It was Suvarn Sundari in Hindi. Kuhu kuhu bole koeliya. This is the answer. Which means the quizmaster gets a prize? Vana. Where ஏதாவது one of you come here, ask a quiz question, anybody answers, we'll give them the diamond. You won't get the diamond. Anybody interested? Anybody interested? Illa? On a simple method, non-controversial method. I'm sure no lady is going to stand up to want the prize. We'll give it to the most senior person, the oldest lady in the group. Nobody will get up. Anybody gets up, they'll get it. Diamond tarra. Diamond tarra. You have to accept you are the oldest. Ava. Anybody interested? சொல்லிட்டேன். அதான் எனக்கு நானே எடுத்துக்கணுமா டைமண்டை? நல்லா இல்லை. ரொம்ப டைம் ஆகும். ஸோ வாட் வி வில் டூ இஸ், ரைட். அப்போ யார் வேலை விழுந்தா, டைமண்ட் விழுந்தா என்ன ஆகும்? ஸோ ஓகே, some other simple qualification வச்சு கொடுத்துடலாம் டைமண்ட். After all, who got the lowest marks in our final year exam? வேணாம்மா, நல்லா இல்லையா? இதெல்லாம் வர்றாங்க பாரு. Some question like that. Idea கொடுங்க பார்க்கலாம். Who has got the maximum grandchildren? Productivity. யாரு? Come on. Who has got the maximum grandchildren? கொடுக்குறேன். கை தூக்குங்க. Who has got 10? Who has got 12? Who has got 14? Chief போயிட்டாரா? Diamond மிஸ் பண்ணாரு. நான் என்ன பண்றது? Who has got 10 grandchildren? Come on, come on, come on. Please stand up. யாராவது 10 grandchildren? Get up, get up, get up. Stand up, stand up. 6. Anybody beating him? 6 grandchildren அங்கே இருக்கார். Stand up, stand up. How many? உன் தாத்தா இருக்கார் பின்னால. How many? நீயும் 6ஆ? டைமண்ட் ஷேர் பண்ணிக்கணும் நீங்கள். Anybody more than 6? இல்லையா? Are you willing to share a diamond? Come, come. Imagine GEASON63 is gifting a diamond for their diamond jubilee. ஊரெல்லாம் சொல்ல வேண்டிய விஷயம். வாங்க. பப்ளிக்காக கொடுக்குறேன். நாளைக்கு ஐடி டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் வந்தால் நீங்கள்லாம் சப்போர்ட் பண்ணணும் என்ன. So, for our diamond jubilee, to the two most productive engineers that we have, I would like to present a diamond. ரெண்டு பேரும் வாங்கிக்கங்க. You can open it. Please show it to everybody. It's a diamond. It's a diamond. Diamond இல்லைன்னு யார் சொல்ல முடியும் சொல்லுங்க. ஓகே ஓகே ஓகே. நான் அந்த கேட்டுக்கு ரூட்டு ஃப்ரீயாக இருக்கான்னு பார்த்துட்டு கொடுத்தேன். ஓட்டுறதுக்கு ரெடியாக இருக்கணும். How you share it, I don't know. பாதியாக கட்டுக்கிறீங்களா? நான் அதை உங்களை கொடுத்துட்டேன்.
பசுமை நிறைந்த நினைவுகளே, பாடித்திரிந்த பறவைகளே, பழகி கழித்த தோழர்களே, இருந்து சென்றோமே. பசுமை நிறைந்த நினைவுகளே, பாடித்திரிந்த பறவைகளே, பழகி கழித்த தோழர்களே, பிரிந்து சென்றோமே. பயிற்சி பெற்றோமே. இணையற்ற இன்ஜினியர் பட்டம் பெற்று பெருமை அடைந்தோமே. இணையற்ற இன்ஜினியர் பட்டம் பெற்று பெருமை அடைந்தோமே. இனிய உலகில் சேவை செய்திட உறுதி பூண்டோமே. நாமே உறுதி பூண்டோமே. பசுமை நிறைந்த நினைவுகளே, பாடித்திரிந்த பறவைகளே, பழகி கழித்த தோழர்களே, பிரிந்து சென்றோமே. அறுபது ஆண்டவரடிதனை சேர்ந்தவர் சிலரின் பெருமைக்கும் குறைவேது. ஆண்டவரடிதனை சேர்ந்தவர் சிலரின் பெருமைக்கும் குறைவேது என்பதை தாண்டி வைர விழாவில் இன்று இணைந்தோமே. என்பதை தாண்டி வைர விழாவில் இன்று இணைந்தோமே. என்றும் நட்பின் மாண்பினை போற்றி இணைந்திருப்போமே. என்றும் இணைந்திருப்போமே. பசுமை நிறைந்த நினைவுகளே, பாடித் திரிந்த பறவைகளே, பழகி கழித்த தோழர்களே, பிரிந்து சென்றோமே. பசுமை நிறைந்த நினைவுகளே, பாடித் திரிந்த பறவைகளே, பழகி கழித்த தோழர்களே, பிரிந்து சென்றோமே. நாம் பிரிந்து சென்றோமே.
I think now we have got a relaxed time now. I would request some of the ladies first to come forward and speak a few words of our association for the past 50 years. Almost 50 years? 60 years, I'm sorry. First to start with, Mrs. Desikan. எங்க இருக்காங்க இல்லையா? Mrs. Desikan? இல்லையா? ஏமான்னு தெரியாது எனக்கு. பகவதி இல்லையே. Okay. Anyone else would like to come forward? Ladies first, before gent starts. Anyone else from your ladies' side? She has already spoken. Part. You should participate. It's a relaxed time. There is not a question of, it's not a formal, it's totally informal. Okay, anybody else would like to talk? Mrs. Shankar Raman? Shankar Raman, come. Few words. அப்பதான் அந்த நேரம் இதாகும். Anyone else? We got some more time. We got about 15-20 minutes. பாடுங்க. கம் ப்ளீஸ் கம். யாருமே வரலையா? நீங்கள் வாங்க. பாடம் அது தட் இஸ் மை மிஸ்டேக். ஹர் மிஸ்டேக் ஆர் மை மிஸ்டேக், ஐ எம் நாட் ஷுவர். Okay, I will just go ahead. I would like, it is not necessary that you have to come to the stage. You can talk from here itself. That may be better. It will be totally informal. Please. You have traveled with us for the past almost 60 years, isn't it? Anybody? Let them say what they have traveled if they want. Thank you. Okay. Venugopal, would like to talk anything? You said you want to talk, please. Few minutes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. In Silver Jubilee, when we celebrated, we wanted to do something for the Arab Association and something unique. We offered to construct an Alumni Center building, which was the first of its kind in the whole country. Now that building has become the monumental one in the university campus. We constructed only ground floor, first floor through our help, and second floor and annex have been completed now. It has become a very big complex. Now my request is, annex has been completed. My request is we should do something unique like that for the Alumni Association. Last time it was a building. Now everybody is asking me my suggestion. My suggestion is to put up a solar plant for the ground floor we have constructed. And certainly it will grow for other floors and annex also. So if you have got better ideas, please let us know. And you approve of this, depending on the budget, we will see what is to be done. And we will also approach you if, for donation if something is required. It will be voluntary. Solar lighting for the ground floor which we constructed. So, I request feedback from all of you, and if you approve if there is any better suggestion, it is always welcome. If we have got if you approve of this, please let us know. Thank you.
As far as solar plant is concerned, Anna University has recently proposed to have a solar plant in every department building to be self-sufficient. The sanction has been done that I came to know. Even for our next building, they are putting it up. For our Alumni Association building also they are planning. This is the present status. And anybody else? Veena Rajan?
I'd like to invite Dr. Shanmugam to the stage. A little bit of background. I thought it would be good if we have a doctor staying with us today. Not a reflection on any of you or your condition of health and all that, but I like to be extra safe. And we have Dr. Shanmugam spending the day with us. He will be here tonight in the room and have breakfast with us and only then leave. Good? Now we'll be sharing his room number and phone number also. Anything medical, any help you want, he is there for us. Okay? In appreciation from GEASON63, we'd like to give him a small memento. Ramanujan will be presenting today. Thank you. We'll announce your room number and.
Or you want to speak to him?
Doctor? Do you see anything?
No. You can just
You want to say anything?
A few things about it.
What does we don't know about
Just
you?
this.
may say your specialization. Most
Yeah.
Yeah, actually I'm a postgraduate medicine. My core specialization in infectious disease. So you people are well known about COVID-19. So it is also one of my part. It's not my part. The whole 2 years we were struggling with this COVID-19. As an ID physician, I am a chief infection control officer in Tiruvallur district. If you have any doubt related to medical, I can clarify. If anybody else? If you have any medical illness or you people are under some treatment related to your infections, whatever, any neurological deficit, I can clarify. I think you people are very healthy, right? Let us challenge whether you are healthy or not. Yeah, tell me.
Suggest some remedies.
Yeah, you just tell me, I'll give some suggestions.
I'm having diabetes for past 25 years.
Okay.
I'm taking medicines.
Okay.
Sure. Suffering from diabetic neuropathy. What is the
Peripheral diabetic neuropathy.
diabetic neuropathy?
Diabetic neuropathy. Okay.
That is pricking the
Pricking the palm.
the
Okay.
foot.
Okay. What is your HbA1c level? HbA1c level? HbA1c. That,
Mine,
uh,
6.9.
6.9. You are fasting?
Fasting, 127.
Postprandial?
180, 180.
Cholesterol profile?
Huh?
Cholesterol profile?
First,
Cholesterol profile.
I don't remember.
You don't remember those. Okay.
Only creatinine I remember.
Creatinine. What is your level of the creatinine?
Creatinine is 1.1.
1.1. Okay, but you have the peripheral neuropathy. So it's a common thing for diabetes to acquire the peripheral neuropathy. Yeah, see. Yeah, I will tell. I will tell.
It is natural that you get this neuropathy. After
See,
20
there
years
are actually no. There are some reasons. There are some a remedy is not there. Your diabetes should be in control. And your lifestyle disorder. Within 200. Your postprandial should be within 200. Okay. At the time of the diagnosis, what is your postprandial?
If you ask all those things, I have to bring them.
That is why. Okay.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you very much. And doctor will be staying with us. I have circulated his number among GEASON63, and his room number is 609. Okay. You will find doctor's number in GEASON63 WhatsApp. I would now request B. Natarajan to come forward.
Good evening. I will not take much time, but I would like to trace the path GEASON63 has traveled from the beginning. As Venu was telling, our contribution started from Silver Jubilee. But before that, before we had our Silver Jubilee, lot of spade work was done. One person who was behind all this is our friend Chandrasekhar. Please give him a big hand. He was responsible for collecting the addresses, telephone numbers, and taking all of us with him to various places for a meeting. We used to have a meeting in my house, in Amritalingam's house, in S.K. Venkatachalam's house, the late C.P. Sarathi's house. All these people have contributed such a lot before we celebrated our Silver Jubilee. And after the Silver Jubilee, our friend Tukaram, he suggested that we should do something to guide the students for their future. And he contributed 1 lakh rupees. And through Alumni Association, we started what was known as, even now it is known, GEASON63 Tukaram Career Guidance Program. Initially, Chandra, Sasi, late Sivakumar and Sarathi were handling this every year meticulously to conduct this career guidance program. Though of course Sarathi is not there now, but Sasi's contribution is very immense in this. When the other 40th year we wanted to meet, again we all had to put a lot of effort together. Because those days there was no internet, there was no WhatsApp, there was no cell phone. Everything had to be done through telephone. So we used to share, like, if it is civil engineering friends, Amritalingam or Dhariraj, electrical means Ramaseshan. Like this, we distributed our work, and the 40th year went on. Now, recent COVID-19, after that, our friend Raghuraj has contributed immensely to meticulously conduct the Zoom meeting every month on the first Sunday or second Sunday. This has helped us, to be together. And today, so many people have come because of this contact we have been maintaining so far. Though Raghu is not here today, I think we should give a big hand for Raghuraj. Tukaram has come. He has not come, I think, so far. So Tukaram also has been very good. Every time he comes to India, he makes it a point to call us and tell us we should have a get-together. At least people who are in Chennai, we have a get-together regularly because of the Quorum. Then, last but not the least, our friend Suresh and Rama Session with Doreraj have been conducting these meetings very nicely every year. Hats off to them. Thank you all, Rama Session, Suresh. All the best.
For the timings part of it, 8 o'clock is the dinner, but the dinner has already come. Before that, a cocktail has been arranged. I would like who are all interested may contact me, and the cocktails are outside. You can have a drinks inside also. Okay. I would request if some of you would like to go back to the room and come back, it's left to you. Or you may like to take a dinner, you are welcome. Okay. The second part is those people after the dinner who are leaving Chennai back. All the cars are standing by the rear side of this hall. There is an yellow tag in that. Okay. And I think every one of you who are all come from Chennai, they have been given the driver's contact as well as his number. So you can contact him directly and approach him, and you can ask that electric buggy to come there to this. Of course, sorry, you are not staying there. You can straight away go there and then carry on your back journey. Thank you very much. And as far as the night stay is concerned, they will take the buggy and they will go back. Tomorrow morning, there will be a breakfast up to 10:30. Okay, up to 10:30. And beyond that, at 12 o'clock noon, 12:30 onward, 12 o'clock is the checkout time. So it is expected they want us to check out between 12 to 12:30. So we have arranged in such a way that 12 to 12:30 we'll check out, and we have a restroom. We have got a resting place near the reception itself. We have arranged, and you can sit there. Maybe by 1 o'clock you can have the lunch. And those of you who are going to Pondicherry, they may leave by their cars. And those of you who are going back to Chennai, we have arranged that vehicles, you can go back to Chennai. Okay. Is there any other clarification you would like to ask?
Where do we make for breakfast?
Breakfast. Breakfast is the normal restaurant which is just by the side of the reception. Okay. As you go to the reception, you will find just opposite that, you will find it is very near seashore. So we have arranged in such a way, we have reserved that portion where you can sit very near the sea. So they have agreed in principle, you can have the breakfast in that. From 7:30 onwards up to 10:30. 7:30. 7:30. By about 7:30 they start the breakfast. And up to 10:30 is there. And 12 to 12:30 is check-off time. And 1 o'clock, 12:30 to 1 o'clock, the lunch will start. You can, just by the reception only, the restaurant is there. You can have your lunch and may push off. Okay? Baggage part of it, as far as those people who are going back to Chennai, okay, they can take their luggage and the Bala Travels will be standing there. We will give you the driver's contact as well as the contact number where you have to go back to Chennai. The driver, you can contact the driver by when we are sending the chart to you. You can contact the driver, they will be in the parking lot. So you can take that electric buggy, put that in the luggage in that, come to the reception counter, near the reception, you can take your lunch and go back. As far as those people who are going for Pondicherry, the same way, only thing is, I'm not sure how many cars are coming from the Pondicherry, that part of it, Suresh will take care of it. So you can also do the same thing, you can put that luggage in your car which is supposed to proceed to Pondicherry, come to the restaurant, have lunch and then come and push off. Is that clear? Anybody else? And before that, I would just mention, one or two people wanted some few questions to ask Madam Chitra Madhavan. If you would like to ask, please ask now, because she is here. I heard one or two people told me that I would like to ask some questions. Please, she is here with us. Anyone? Otherwise, we will close with this. Okay? Ah, please. Just a minute. Just
Tanjore temple, நீங்கள் shadow fall பண்ண மாட்டா சொல்றாங்கல்ல, but you said it falls. Where does it fall? கேட்கல.
Hello. Hello. The shadow does not fall.
அப்ப அங்க shadow எப்படியா இருக்கணும்ல?
Shadow, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The shadow falls. The shadow 100% falls. That's what I said. Sometimes we are standing in the shadow and we are saying the shadow doesn't fall. 100% the shadow falls, especially between 3 and 4 in the evening. If you go, there is a long shadow. And most people, I repeat, will be standing in the shadow and saying it doesn't fall. So the 2-3 things that we learned wrong about the temple, we are saying that it's one piece of stone. It's not one piece of stone. We say, and the shadow thing also. These are 2 things. There are very many other wrong conceptions about this temple, but it will take a long time to explain.
Thank you.
And about Srivilliputtur, of course. Yeah, Google will tell you that the emblem is Srivilliputtur temple. You open any IAS exam book also, it will say the same thing. It is not. So that young fellow who told me, I asked him to show me the documents because I was not going to believe everything that he said. He promptly, scanned all the documents of his grandfather and sent them to me 100%. I even wrote some articles in some magazines and I was hoping people would ring me up and nothing, nobody even bothered. Oh, okay. Her question to me is why, the Gangaikonda Cholapuram temple is, it's actually made of granite. It was originally in that granite color, that brownish color of granite. But the Archaeological Survey of India has given it a coating of paint which makes it look pinkish, unfortunately. But that coating of paint was done in order to conserve it. It's for conservation purpose, but I know it doesn't look great. It doesn't look nice at all. That original brown color used to look wonderful. What to do?
May I ask a question?
Yes, please.
I am Natasan. I belong to 63 batch mechanical.
Yeah.
What happened to Rajaraja Solan in the end?
We have no authentic proof at all. He died in 1014, but we don't know how he died. There is no record of how most kings died. Rajendra Chola also, his son, we have no record. Krishnadevaraya also, we have no record. Some maybe it was in a war or maybe old age, disease, whatever. We have no idea. But there are lots of stories.
Yeah.
We shouldn't believe all those things.
And another thing, why was Rajeshwaram, the temple was not open to public for 200 years? Why was it closed?
When was that?
Yeah. After long after Rajaraja Solan, until the foreigner discovered that it is built by Rajaraja Solan, it was not worshipped. It was locked up.
Yeah. So, in this temple and in many other temples also, there has been what is called continual worship, that is with breaks in between. One such break happened in the 14th century when there was an invasion of Alauddin Khilji's time. At that point of time, many of the temples in Tamil Nadu were closed. And then there was another invasion during the time of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, also in the 14th century, when temples were closed. The one you are talking about was complete lack of care, lack of attention. That's why it was closed.
But Muhammad bin Tughlaq or whoever it is, Alauddin Khilji, nobody attacked this temple.
Very much.
But another point, completely different. What is the history of Triplicane Temple?
Oh, the Triplicane temple is what is called the Divya Desham, which is one of the 108 Divya Deshams or temples sanctified by the verses of the Arvars. And among the three Arvars who came, Pei Arvar, Tirumalizhai Arvar and Tirumangai Arvar, Pei Arvar was the oldest. And according to historians, he lived in the 5th century AD. So this temple was very much a functioning temple in the 5th century for an Arvar to have come and worshipped. But it would have been there much before that, and we have no authentic historical evidence to show, to know when the origin was.
Who built it?
No, we have absolutely no idea about the origin of this temple. It could have been in the Pallava times. The Pallavas may have built the core of the temple, but let us understand one thing. None of the temples that we see in Tamil Nadu today belong to just one dynasty. They have been added to by subsequent dynasties. Even the Tanjavur temple, the Parthasarathi temple, every other temple, the core would belong to one particular time. Say, in the case of the Parthasarathi Swami temple, perhaps it is a Pallava period temple, maybe 4th century or so. But what we see today is a very different temple from what it originally was. The Cholas contributed, the Vijayanagara rulers contributed, there have been modern contributions. As recently as 100, 200 years ago, also there have been many contributions. So the temple has expanded and expanded and expanded into what it is today.
Rajaraja Solan, in my opinion, didn't get the credit he deserved.
I think he has got more credit than what he deserved. It's his son Rajendra who didn't get that credit.
Correct. No, there is actually Karur Tevar.
His guru.
Did he die in Tanjore temple? Tanjore is my native place.
Karur Devars, we have, again, I don't think we have authentic proof to show that he died in the temple premises. See, as a student of history, we need to have it in black and white for us to make a statement. You know, there are traditions. We believe in traditions definitely, but we must say that according to tradition, this is the case. But whereas if we have inscriptions or we have literary evidence, then we can say we have authentic proof. So without authentic proof, I am unable to tell you where exactly Karuvur Devar died.
And even Rajaraja Solan burial place is not known.
Not 100% ensured still.
I belong to Tanjore. I am very much, I have bought the book by Balasubramaniam.
Kudavail, sir.
It's a beautiful book.
Yes.
But still, there is a mystery about Karur Devar. It has not been clarified. And the foundation of Tanjavur temple is only 4 feet. As an engineer, I am very much astonished.
True.
How is, theoretically speaking, I will say it cannot stand, but it still survives. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
One more question along with that. Will be the final question.
Sure.
Because you will be staying with us for dinner. Anybody else, they can contact.
Hello.
Yes.
I have one question.
Sure.
In North, there are a lot of palaces built by kings, whereas in South India, you have only temples, no palaces. You don't find.
I can
What
answer.
is the reason for that? Are there any palaces which are ruined and we are not able to see them? Can you explain about it?
I will. So, you see, in the north also, before the advent of the Mughals, we don't have many palaces. So, the reason for that is, as well as in South India, palaces were never made of stone. Palaces were made either of brick or of wood, supported with a little bit of stone, but not wholly of stone. The reason was because although the architects knew how to build with stone, you have the most magnificent temples, they decided that stone was to be used only for the devalayas, for the houses of the gods, because God is permanent and his house should be permanent, whereas we are impermanent. So let us use perishable material like brick or wood. So even though they knew how to use stone, they purposely did not, because we are mortal and God is immortal. So give him that stone and let us use wood or brick, which is why you don't find palaces in South India, nor do you find palaces in North India of the ancient period. Gone. And you don't find many temples in the north as compared to the south because of invasions. The Vindhyas prevented those invaders from coming into the south, and also the Vijayanagara Empire prevented invasions from the north into the south. So the temples here are intact.
Thank you.
On behalf of all of us, we are inviting Madam Chitra Madhavan for our dinner. Please. And those people who are like to join cocktail, you can just go behind that door. You may find the cocktail. You may come and drink here. At the same time, those people who would like to take a dinner, they also can come take the plate and eat here also. Possible. Thank you.
Because we are mortal and God is immortal. So give him that stone and let us use wood or brick, which is why you don't find palaces in South India, nor do you find palaces in North India of the ancient period. Gone. And you don't find many temples in the north as compared to the south because of invasions. The Vindhyas prevented those invaders from coming into the south, and also the Vijayanagara Empire prevented invasions from the north into the south. So the temples here are intact.
Thank you.
One more information which I forgot, because since I have been in the college for almost 10 years doing career guidance program, I would like to intimate, because we have studied in the 4 years in our college, the present status of the college is, we had started career guidance program by Tukaram. Now the stage has come that VC has taken over the rope and he has created a career cell, and there are about 1,500 alumni who are already joined in that group of career guidance, and out of which there are about 500 alumni all around Chennai. Literally they come, not every week, every month for various departments. They have started having a counseling program also. It is going on in a very smooth manner. I think thanks to the VC. And one more thing, I had told VC, Vice Chancellor, about few days back, 1963 batch is going to have a Diamond Jubilee. He was insisting, why don't you come to the college and meet them. But unfortunately, I was to tell them they are all going for Pondicherry. So I have no choice. So any other time, please call them, because you are all 80 years old. We would like to meet you. This is for information. Thank you. If you like to if anybody would like to come on 23rd, that is 23rd September, they can come. AGM is please. They want us. Actually, our alumni association also, they're welcome 1963, all the seniors to come on September 23rd. He has given me the list of 63 batch students, all our 63 batch mates. He has given the list. Alumni Association has given me the list.